Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to you all present here today. My name is Haziq and today I'm with Mr. Morgan as he will be discussing 10 tips Microsoft Excel to improve your efficiency. If you have any question regarding today's topic, do leave them in the comment section down below and Mr. Morgan will answer them right after he finishes presenting. Without further ado, I will pass the mic to Mr. Morgan.
Okay, thank you so much, Azik. All right, hi guys. Okay, welcome to our Excel tips and tricks. Okay, so I have already built up some good tips and also functions that you can actually utilize in your file immediately after our class. All right. Okay, so what are we going to cover for the next 1 hour? Okay, we will be I'll be showing you first. Okay, this is a common problem lah. Okay, with some of the users that I've trained. Okay, which is selection of data. How to select a data even though you have like blank rows. As you can see, are there blank rows in between? What are the methodologies available in Excel that we can use? I will show you to you the shortcuts and the correct method of doing it. Second, I will also show you how to do calculation, all right, with a single click of a button. Okay, a calculation. Even though your calculation is lying everywhere, you can see I need to do a quantity multiply with price calculation here. Just one formula and I enter, it will automatically populate to all the other cells as well. Okay, ada satu trick that we can actually use it. So it saves us a lot of time lah. Dan ketiga, blank cells. Okay, blank cells. Sometimes kita punya report, okay, sometimes when we download report from our system, we might have, depending on the how the developer have created the formula, the report, you might have blank, okay, you might have blank cells like this when you import it into your Excel. So this kind of data that we have, this kind of report that we have, will create some problem or will double work lah for us to proceed with other analysis, because you need to have the data fulfilled in order for us to proceed for the analysis. Even for your pivot table, VLOOKUP, or any functions that you want to utilize, you must have a fulfilled data available. Then only you can proceed. All right. So I will go to show it to you how we can actually automatically fill in the remaining of the blank cells in a step. Then we're going to learn about blank rows. This is another common problem. When you download a report, then you can see multiple blank rows. Okay, this is dangerous. You shouldn't proceed with any analysis if you find there is any there's going to be some blank columns or blank rows. Okay, it's very dangerous. Okay, because why? If you have not realized it before, what will happen is, let's say you just do a sort or you just do a filter. What will happen is Excel will stop here. Okay, let's say I'm doing a filter sorting lah. Okay, and I don't realize there's a blank rows. When you do a sort or filter, what Excel will do is it will only concentrate this data. The data that comes after the blank columns will be ignored. Okay, will be ignored unless you know what you are doing. All right. So I'm going to show it to you a trick how you can actually remove the blank columns, blank rows. Sorry. Okay, this is common questions I always receive from my Excel classes. So today I'm going to expose it to you how you can actually utilize the tools that is available to remove the blank rows. Then of course I'll show you about the sum. Okay, then also the shortcut how you can actually, instead of using the auto sum that always we use, this part here, auto sum, this is what we always use, right, for auto sum. But sometimes we prefer to use keyboard for the auto sum, so I will show it to you how you can actually use via keyboard for your auto sum. And lastly, subtotal. Okay, this subtotal function, if you have not heard it before, is fantastic, especially if you need to filter your data. Okay, later when I'm into this particular section, I will explain to you when we use the filter, what is the limitation? So I'm going to show it to you how you can actually remove the limitation and use your filter accordingly. All right. Okay, let's go back to the first one first. Okay. Now just have a look at how I'm going to do this. There's going to be three tricks I'm going to show you how you can actually select your data. First of all, let's say I want to select this data, this range. Okay, only this range. The trick is just make sure your cursor is inside the data area. I've already parked inside here. All right. So it can be anywhere, doesn't matter, as long as it's inside the data area. And also the assumption is there's no blank rows and blank columns. Okay. Now it's very important that you realize what is the consequences by having a blank rows and blank columns. I always do my analysis without any blank columns and blank rows. Okay, because if you want to utilize 100% of all the utilities that Excel has, you need to ensure there's no blank rows and columns. Okay, now coming back to this, if I want to select the whole data, what usually certain users will do is they will use their mouse and highlight. Okay, which is not wrong, which is okay, but I'm going to show you a faster way of doing it. Okay, just press Control A. Okay, you can write it down. Control A. Okay, Control A is actually a hotkey to auto select the whole range. Okay, now I'm going to select Control A. All right, you see here, it has already selected the data. So it will go and select all the data that doesn't have a blank columns or rows. Okay, and it will automatically select. Now you can do whatever you want. You want to insert borders, you want to do any coloring, you can. Control A, that's a shortcut. Now, second, let's say we have sometimes when we download our report column might have about 20 or 30 columns. I even seen certain reports that had about 70 columns. Okay, the report is too huge. So when you are maneuvering from the first column to the last column, it's going to be very troublesome because you're going to end up using your the arrow key right on your keyboard to go left and right. Such a waste of time. So what is the faster way for us to jump from first column to the last column or wherever it is? Okay, one of it is your control. Okay, press your control and press your the arrow key. Let's say now I'm keeping my cursor here, so I want it to jump directly to this particular location. No problem, I press my control, I press it, it will jump. Okay, so wherever you are, just press the control and jump it, it will go to the respective area. Okay, control, then use your arrow key. Up or down, doesn't matter. Wherever it is, it will do the work accordingly. But if you want to select the whole area also can, this way, you can press Control Shift. Okay, now Control, press the Shift and press the button. This also can be applied. Okay, this is very helpful, especially if you are selecting one array. Let's say the whole column or the whole row. Let's say I want to select this row. Control Shift, that's it. Control A will select the whole range. But if you want to select a selective row or selective column, Control Shift arrow is the best solution. Okay, lagi cepat, alright? Control Shift and that's it. Let's say from here, Control Shift, it selects the data. So it's faster than doing the manual mouse way. Okay, so Control Shift arrow, that's the shortcut. All right, and lastly here, like what I said, if you have a blank rows, you have a limitation. Okay, but in the same time, let's say you need to highlight your data like this, including with your blank rows. You have to bring your cursor at the last cell here. Okay, no choice. So then you press Control Shift Home. This the filler will select until the first record. Okay, where the first record is. Okay, your first data is here. Okay, starts from row number 1. So it will go and find and it will automatically highlight. Okay, Control Shift Home. Sorry, Control Shift Home. Okay, write it down. Control Shift Home. But make sure that you bring your cursor to the last data area. Then you press Control Shift Home. It will select. Okay, so that's how there's a 3 ways of doing a selection that can be very helpful for us. Okay, you might not understand if you have been using some intermediate functions, like VLOOKUP, count if, sum if, okay, a pivot table, and all that kind of functions. then you will understand that this is going to save you a lot of time, because when we are in the we're handling corporate data, our data is quite huge. Some of us might have 10,000, some of us might have about 20, 30,000, or even more. So when you are doing a selection, it takes a lot of time if you are doing it manually. And another thing I would like to advise you is, stop doing highlighting like this. Okay, you highlight like this, and it will be, the whole column is actually being highlighted. So after that, then you will do your coloring or whatever it is. Okay, some of us will do this because we got no time to go and highlight because our data is too huge. Now, let me tell you what is the consequences. When you are doing this, okay, I assure you, some of you might have been doing this practice all this while. Okay, but do you realize that when you open your file is taking some time for it to open? Okay, especially when you have multiple sheets and you have done a lot of your data in this way, a lot of your visualization this way, your highlighting. Okay, this is not a proper way. Okay, there is another technique if you want to do this, which I will be covering in our future class. Okay, but for now, stop doing this. Make sure you select the correct range and do the highlighting. If you are doing this way, what is the consequences is, Excel is being instructed to highlight until row number 1 million plus. That imagine you have multiple sheets, and you have numerous columns and also rows. You have done this way. Every time when you open a file of Excel will need to remember all the steps that we have done before. So when you're opening, the file will remember every steps, every formulas, everything that you have done. Then it will try to load it as fast as it can. But you have, but if you are you are asking it to do overtime work, because all this is necessary. We don't have data until 1 million plus. Okay, we might have only about 10,000. So then what's happening is, the filler is forced to work until row number 1 million plus, whereas it's not supposed to. And that will end up creating slowness in opening your file. Okay, your file might be very small in size. Some of you might be thinking, my size is not even 1 megabyte. But why is it taking so much of time? It's because of this. All right, so stop doing this way. All right, second, multiple cells. Okay, multiple cells. All right, there's two scenarios. Let me show you scenario number one first. Okay, so this is all the quantity, the total that we need to calculate, which is basically is quantity multiplied with price. Lah. So I need to do, let's say, manual way all this while. Before we know this trick, what we'll be doing is, we create the formula here first, then after that we do here, then we do here, then we do here. So basically we need to do 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because they are not beside each other, so we are forced to do it one by one. Correct, right? But actually we are wrong. We can actually do it in a go. The trick is, highlight all the cells that you are going to construct the formula, because it's going to be the same formula, right? Then immediately, once you have already highlighted, you just do your formula, equals quantity multiply price. Okay, that's it. But do not press enter. Don't press enter. If you press enter, let me show you, it will only apply to the last cell that you have created the formula. So that's not what I want. So let me show you the correct way of doing it. Highlight, equals quantity multiply with price. Don't press enter, press control enter. There you go. You see the magic? Everywhere the formula has been done for you. And the magic combination is control enter. Make sure you have highlighted all the cells that shares the same formula. Then press control enter. Then it will automatically do the calculation to all the cells that you have highlighted in a single go. You save a lot of time. Okay, guys, control enter. Now you can do the same thing here. Okay, not necessary you can apply this into non-neighboring cells. You can also use this. Let's say for all this, control quantity multiply with price. You can use the same technique, equals quantity multiply with price. Again, don't press enter, control enter, job done. All right, so control enter. Make sure you highlight first, then you create the formula, then don't enter, press control enter. Okay, together, press the control key, do not let it go, then press the enter key, and your job is done. Okay, now let's go for the third one, blank cells. Okay, have you ever thought how can you select the blank cells easily? Okay, everything got there's a tools for everything in Excel. We just need to know where is the location. All right. Now, in this case, we know Control A can be used. Remember, that's now I said Control A can be used, right? So Control A, there you go. It already selected the whole data area. So I only want to tackle the blank cells. Remember, because I want it to fill in the region accordingly. Now, how can I ensure? What is the next step? Is for it to go and highlight the blank cells. Wherever there's a blank cells, I want it to highlight. I already informed you all, explained to you all the logic of this report. We go to under the home, right? Under the home, right at the back, under the editing group, there is an option for find and select. Okay, find and select. Okay, we go to special. Okay, go to special, and there it is. You can see there's a lot of options here. I'm going to select blanks. Don't worry about others. Okay, for now, let's select blanks because I want it to go to all the blanks. That's why they call it as go to. Okay, so now it's basically go to blanks. So when I click OK, there you go. You saw that it automatically have selected the blanks inside the range that we selected. So the next thing equals the cell above, equals to cell above. So it's going to be equals to west. Then you know how it goes, right? So the next, don't press enter, control enter, job done. All right. If you're not so familiar with the formulas for now, even the basic formulas doesn't matter. In our next session, we will have about formulas. Okay, you can check with our team about our future classes after this. Okay, so that then we learn about more on formulas. Today we are here to learn about the tricks and also the tips. Okay, guys. So what you need to do is first select the range, then we go to find and select, go to special, and make sure you select blanks because we want it to go and select all the blank columns. That's why I selected blanks. And it will automatically highlight. Then I just applied the formula equals to this cell. And when you enter the control enter, you know how the cell reference rules will go. Then that's why it is being automatically populated. Okay, very simple. No need to do it manually. All right. Now, let's go to the blank rows. This is a common problem as well for all of us, especially when we download a report, we have a lot of blank rows. Okay, so that causes a lot of problem for us because like what I said, there's always a limitation when you have blank rows in between our data set. So how to do it? You see, earlier before we started all these techniques, I already showed you about the selection of data. That means how to select data. There's three ways. Okay, so now you see it is being handy right now. Here I did use the Control A. Now I'm going to use Control Shift Home because I need to select the data range a fast way. Okay, practically our data won't be as this short. Okay, it's going to be huge. So you need to remember the steps that I showed you of the selections. All right. So now I've done the selections here. So what's the next step I need to do is again go to special and I go to blanks. There you go. You saw it already go and highlighted all the blank rows automatically because it is meant to go and select all the blank cells. So this is good enough for me. So the next thing, we need to delete the rows because it's already automatically selected. Right click, press the delete. So it will ask us what do you want to delete, whether the entire row, entire column. All right. So here I'm interested to select the rows only, to delete the rows only. So I will select the entire row. Just watch what happens. Job done. Now I can proceed with my analysis without any problem because Excel has automatically deleted the uh, the blank rows for me. All right. Again, I'm using the same function. Go to special blanks. Okay. This go to special, it's very handy, especially like this kind of situation when you use special. There is a special. What is it? Special way of selection. You can actually come back here. You can also use it for visible cells only. Okay, the other way around. Blanks means you just go and select all the blank cells. If you want to see only the visible cells, it will select the visible cells. So all the hidden will be hidden. Okay, I mean, won't be selected. So the filler will only be select the one that is visible. Okay, so there's a lot of functions can be done used here. Okay, so I just wanted to show you about blanks for today. Even when you do a macro, a lot of you have heard about macro. This go to special will be very helpful. Okay, just to give you an example, some ideas lah. Okay, so try to understand the utilization of go to special because there's a lot of benefits of using it. Okay, all right. Next, let's go to sum. All right, let's go to sum. Now here the sum. You see, if you are not so familiar on creating formulas, okay, you are still in the basic level, just a beginning level. Okay, when I say beginner level, I'm talking about if you are if you are good in plus, minus, divide, then multiply, and you have been using this only for this in Excel, that means you are still in the beginner stage. Okay, you can actually uh, what is it declare yourself whether you are a basic user or intermediate user. If you have used a VLOOKUP before, if you have used a pivot table before, if the if function before, then you can say yourself you are an intermediate or an advanced user. Okay, but Janji, no templates. If you have taken somebody else's file, a template we call it, okay, then you have been doing a VLOOKUP, especially a VLOOKUP. This is quite common, a VLOOKUP, but you do not understand the logic why it is working. You are still falling back into the beginner's level, or maybe beyond beginner, but not intermediate. Everything that we do in Excel, you must understand the logic. Okay, you must understand the logic. If you do not understand the logic, you just main pakai kawan punya, okay lah, janji saya dapat jawapan, I'm fine. Okay, that is not correct. Okay, that is not correct. Because if I give you a different scenario, let's say tomorrow you go to a different data set that looks totally different, and then you are starting it from the basic, that means from the fresh. You need to build, you are the owner of the file, so you need to build it. And your boss think that you already know about your VLOOKUP. Then when we're going to do that, you will be stranded. You know why? Because you do not know the logic. Because there is some hidden factors in VLOOKUP that we need to understand. There is certain scenarios, there's certain ways of using a VLOOKUP. We need to understand that. Only when we know in and out about it, you can do it. Okay, but it's all this function in Excel. It is not hard. Okay, trust me, it is not hard. We just need to know and understand how it works and how the logic works. Okay, then you can apply it in your working file. Okay, coming back to this, I will explain to you why I'm emphasizing on this. Now, this is the formula I'm going to create. Okay, I'm going to use the shortcut I showed you earlier. The total is just campur saja lah. Okay, just campur. So this plus this plus this. Control Enter. That's one way of doing it, which I just showed you. Second way of doing this is, let's say you don't prefer to do that way. Still okay, there's a way of doing this. Once you have already created the formula, the first formula, for the remaining, you got few ways actually. One way is bring your cursor right at this particular area, okay, to the bottom right. You can see the cursor has changed to a crosshair. Left click and you can drag it down. So it will automatically calculate. All of us knows about this. But if your list is quite long, let's say I need to drag until line number 10,000. So that's going to take me some time. So the faster way for it to autofill the remaining of the list is to go to the same place here. Instead of dragging it down, you just double click. Okay, you just double click. What Excel will do is it will automatically will go and autofill the formula until the last record. But Janji, no blank rows. Okay, remember the importance I say about blank rows. Make sure there's no blank rows. Then only Excel will be able to autofill until the last record. Okay. Okay, I'm giving you an example here. Let's say now I already have, let's say our data has a blank column like this, a blank row, sorry. Okay, so I'm doing, sometimes the blank row can be at the line number 8,000. So we might not be scrolling until the bottom to have a look at that, right? So it happen to be that, then you can just say double click. That's it. It stops halfway, because it thinks your data ends there. You won't recognize the data after that because Excel is trying to be safe. He doesn't know whether are you trying to calculate this whole thing or there is a reason for you to have a blank row or blank row here. Okay, so to be safe side, it will stop exactly where the row stops. Okay, so be careful on this. Okay, unless you know what you're doing, then it's fine. Okay, so it makes a lot of difference, guys. Okay, coming back to this. Before I show you the shortcut, let me give you an idea how you're supposed to do things in Excel. You see the correct way. Okay, learn the manual way. Okay, always learn the manual way. People will show you shortcut, fine, but the manual way you have to know. For example, okay, this is always example to make it easy for all the users to understand. You see, let's say you got your license for driving by using AutoCar. Okay, nowadays all the exams, most of the users, I mean, most of the driving institution does the licensing via automatic auto car lah. Okay, that gears auto. Fine. All right. Let's say you passed this one already lah. Okay, you passed all the exams. Okay, all the JPJ pass all passed already. Okay, then one fine day, you go outstation. You rent a car. The only car available is a manual car. Now, will you be able to drive the car? You're going to suffer and drive it because it's totally different. You have a clutch, you have your accelerator, and your leg is not used to handling three pedals. You are only used to two pedals. Okay, just a simple example. But if I just say I take my license using a manual car, that means I practice using a manual car. Then even my exam I can drive auto or manual because it's easier for me to cope. Okay, it's very easy for cope. So the same thing here. If you have been learning about auto, then suddenly one fine day you have to work on a manual, you'll be stranded, guaranteed. Okay, so always understand. Don't go and find the easy way out. Understand the logic. Same thing goes here. I can do my steps and just use auto sum here, and I get it. Okay, I get it done. But let's say I need to do my sum here. The total is here. Then, of course, some of us will do this. The fellow will go and show the wrong place. If you are well versed with your Excel, you know what is happening. But if you're not well versed, I can just press and enter. It gives me a total, which is definitely wrong because it highlighted this area only. Okay, so it's going to be giving me a total which is different. So the logic, if you understand, we'll know what you're doing. All right. So what I would prefer to do is to train is by typing the word sum. This is the manual way. Okay, but trust me, this is the best way of doing in Excel. When you go to advanced level, most of my working exercise files will be this because this is going to make your life easy and you can finish your work within minutes if you are using this way. Okay, so the next thing is you just highlight the range, however you want to highlight, you can highlight, and you get the answer. Now, why I am emphasizing this? Let's say right now you have done a sum. Okay. Next, if I ask you to do average, can you get for me the average of this? Some of you maybe have done an average calculation before. Some of you might not have because you might not know how to do it. Okay, but it's actually this exact same way how we just did the sum, what I just showed you, exact 100% same. The only thing is going to be different is the function that you're going to use. What is a function? You- Sum, average, then we got so many others, then we can count A. Okay, there's so many sum, if. Okay, all this, there's many okay, I just going to show it to you. When a user says or any trainer says function, these are all what we call as function. Okay, sum, multiply, okay, no, sorry, sum, average, count A, sum if, count if, all this is what we call as function. Okay, we look up, all that is a function. So now, if I want to find out average, so the function that I should use is average. So you see here, AVE, just type few characters is enough. It will shortlist for you. So I need average here, double click. The next thing, highlight, same process, same style, enter, and I got my average. Same method. You see, with tackling with the sum, okay, then I can use the average as well. But all the functions, all the formulas, okay, sorry, all the formulas in Excel works similar way. Okay, works in a similar way. So you can understand this logic. For you to go to intermediate and advanced, is not going to be very hard. Going to intermediate and advanced doesn't take you years to go. It is not like doing your masters or doing a PhD where we need 4 years or 5 years or 7 years for us to complete. That is education. Okay, this is more on logic. If you understand, next week you might be in the intermediate level already. That's it. That's all. Okay, a lot of the persons that I've trained, okay, they are now in a super advanced level now, which I think they are right. I think less than 6 months they have been periodically attending my intermediate class and advanced class. Okay, it's just about exposure. It's just for you to understand the logic how it works. Once you understand the logic, at one point you definitely will understand the logic. You know how it works in Excel. You can handle any data. You can do any analysis that you want. Any new functions also, you can daring enough to go and try. All right. So use this method, sum. I mean, sorry, the manual method. Get yourself used to it. Then you can explore a lot of other functions easily. You will understand the logic how it works. Now, this is the normal way of doing the sum. But if you want it to be faster, let's say after you have already created this formula, you want to know what is the grand total. A faster way, other than using the sum that I just showed you, is by using alternate enter. Okay, you can jot this down. This is the hotkey for, or the shortcut for, auto sum. Okay, just put your cursor right here. Alternate equals, sorry, it's not alternate enter, sorry, alternate equals. Alternate, press the alternate, then press the equals. You see that it has automatically selected the range on top of it. Okay, I'm quite happy with the selection. Enter, I get the same answer. All right. So I need to show you how the normal process works before I show you the alternate equals. Okay, then after this, you just will keep on doing alternate equals, but without understanding the logic. So now you understand the logic. Now you can use the automatic alternate equals. Okay. So some of you are quite used to keyboard, I've seen. So you can use this to fasten up your calculations. Okay. Now let's go to the last one. This is quite interesting. Everybody who does filter, all of us uses filter. Okay. Let me show it to you something here. I'm going to use a filter. Okay. So this is the filter. So now here, I want to sum. Okay, I want to find out what is the total. Okay, so I'm using a sum here. What is the total? So sum. You see here, I have to use a manual way. I can't use that way. Control Shift arrow down for me to auto select the data range. Or not, if you have not understood the selection, remember that's now I did this. Control Shift arrow. Remember I taught you all this. If you have not using that, you will end up using manually to highlight, which is okay. My record is small. My record is huge. This is going to be a bit time taken. So equals sum First record, Control Shift arrow ke bawah. That's it. It took me not even 1 second to highlight the range. Stop bracket, job is done. So that is my sum. Okay, average, record, and margin. I will show it to you all later. Now, let's say I only want to know all the product with PR003. I want to know what is the sum. So I go here. I only want to see PR003. Okay, what all the user will be expecting is why it is not showing me the sum for all only the visible cells. Even the hidden cells, the hidden records, the fuller when and sum it. I'm very sure all of some of you have gone through this. Okay, very devastating. Huh? Okay, then it's not what you want. So how we can actually ensure that Excel only sum up whatever visible cells are there? Okay, this is where the subtotal will come in. All right, a subtotal. Don't use a sum. If you are using a filter data, a filter table here like this, use subtotal, not sum. Okay, this is a sum. Okay, the formula that I use is a sum. Don't use sum. Only use it if you're using a filter. Okay, if you're not using a filter, use the normal sum. Okay, I'll show you how. Equals subtotal. Okay, you can jot it down. It is subtotal. As soon as you open the bracket, the filler got so many other functions available for you to choose. Now, what I want to do now is to find out the sum. So, the subtotal, you have many other options for you to select. Okay, any functions. So, I want to select the sum functions here. You can see the numbering here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is a reason because as soon as I double click the sum, it will show me the function number, which is 9, which subtotal will know that will understand that you are trying to engage a sum by using a subtotal, comma. The next thing is go and highlight your range. Okay, you still get the answer, but the formula is subtotal. The number 9 represents sum. Okay, now let us do the same thing here. There you go, job done. So now you are getting the sum only for the data that is visible. So the sum for PR003 is 708. Okay, don't use sum. The sum until tomorrow you try to get the sum to be working, you will never get it done because it can only work in subtotal. You can actually do it by subtotal. All right. Let me do another one here. Average. Same thing, subtotal. Double click. Find for your average. Where's your average? Okay, you have it here. Now you can see, you might be asking, why there is sum ada dua kali? Dekat sini pun ada sum. Dekat sini pun ada sum. Why is that? Why they must have like this? And confuses. Is it I supposed to select this sum? I go down, or supposed to select this sum? Now, the logic why Microsoft has this is because they still consider the old versions of Excel. Whenever you have any functions that you can see double like this, it's because if they remove the old function, let's say old numbers, it stopped until, probably would have stopped until, just an example, probably would have stopped until here only, until number 9. So when the newer version comes in, so they orang tambah lah. They orang tambah with 2 digits. Okay, with 2 digits. Let's say the first version of Excel I'm buying is 365. And let's say 365 or maybe 97 punya version ke atau 2000 punya version. So I will definitely would have tried to use any of this numbering here, 101 or 109. But the older version of Excel, maybe 1997 punya version or 2000 punya version, might not have this number. Only 2-digit number for sum or any other function. So what they do is, if they have opened up, let's say you have a file which is actually you created in 1997 by using 97 punya version. So of course, it won't. If Excel have removed the old numbering here, it won't work. Your formula will not work. So they orang consider that, so they retain the old numbering as well. So it works with old files as well. All right, so that's why they keep it there. So don't worry, you select either one of it, it's fine. But just do remember, if you have selected 109 here and you open it up in the old version, then there will be an error in the old version. Okay, so remember that's the reason why they are keeping it this. So you can select this. Okay, sorry, I'm not doing a sum here, I'm doing an average here. Same thing, enter, job done. Now let's say I want to know only the east, I want to know what is the average. Click OK. There you go, you will get your average. All right. Okay, now record. I want to know how many number of records are here. Okay, how many number of records are here. So again, subtotal. I'm going to select count A. Count A is for count all. All right. Let me select this region now. All right. So there's 20 records. So now if you just select, let's say PR001, there is 9 records that is under the product 001. PR001. Then last kali margin is just a profit margin lah. Let's say just a simple formula equals to sum divided by record. You can actually select this, divide by this. Okay, just a fast way of doing a formula. You get that margin. So you have already done this. All right. Okay, that's a fast example only now for that. So now you select. There you go. All this will be working. Okay, all this will be working. All right, will be working accordingly. Let's say PR003. Okay, there you go. The formulas are working based on the data that is visible. All right, so you have been having any headache with filter, subtotal is your answer. All right, there is so many features, there's so many tricks and tips available in Excel that will make our life very easy. Okay, there's many. All right, so this is the one that I wanted to show you all for today. I hope I have given you a very good exposure, a very good idea how you can actually cut time by doing redundant job. Okay, and also the impossible task, all this while we think was impossible, I have given you some ideas to make it possible. All right, okay, you have any questions, guys? You can put it in your comments if you have any questions.
Oh. Hi, Mr. Morgan.
Hi, Rick.
Okay, I think it's almost 1 hour, and
Yep.
there's no any question comes. I
Okay.
think we can just finish our session lah. All right.
Okay, sure,
So
sure, good.
thank you so much for such an insightful presentation on our topic here today, Mr. Morgan.
You're
Okay.
welcome. My
Thank you so
pleasure.
much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining our live session here today. But sorry, okay, there's a question from VJP. Formula PDF required.
What does it mean? What do you mean, Vijay? Are you requesting for a copy of the formulas, or is there a question of how to do a formula? Don't understand on that. Can you elaborate? What is your question actually, Vijay?
Okay, we can wait for VJ for maybe 1 minute.
Yeah, sure, sure. I think it's typing. Anybody else got any question? Boleh tanya. Okay, jangan segan
Mm-mm.
Today's shortcuts. Oh, I think what he's asking is a copy of the formulas and also the shortcuts. So that is he's asking for that. I think.
Okay. But I think if he want more information or detail, he need to join the session lah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I
Correct.
think any other question? I think. I think that's all lah. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Before I end the session, I will just want to tell everyone that Mr. Morgan will be having his public training, Microsoft Excel Intermediate and Advanced Level, coming 26 and 27 of May. If you're interested, you may reach out to us via the email and contact down below, provided in the ticker. Also, please like our Facebook page if you enjoy today's session and follow us for future live sessions. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you soon. Till then, take care and bye bye.
Okay, take care. Okay, just one thing before we end. Okay, thank you, Jaslyn. Okay, great that you have learned. The future classes, it will be hands-on based. Okay, where we will share with you the exercise files. So we all will work together on the exercise files. Okay, because today is just just a demo. Okay, an introduction about the capability of Excel. Okay, for the future classes, it's going to be a hands-on base. So all of us will be working on the hands-on base type. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
All
correct.
right. Okay. No problem,
Okay.
Jaslyn. Okay, Vijay, I think Azik already told you. Okay, one. Okay, okay. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Okay, Azmina, thank you so much. Okay, thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you,
All right, Azik.
everyone. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Morgan.
thank you, Azik.